I just do not understand how these people think, but it's clear that the people who make the policies have no understanding of business, finance, or economics. Period. It's clear that they don't. It's a bunch of old people with old degrees who have no experience, and they just use intimidation, muscle, exploitation, fear, greed in order to rule and to make rules. But I want to do one more video real quick on African pride. And I don't mean cultural pride. I mean literally pride within people who are from and live in Africa, and how it's preventing them from advancing, evolving, and becoming greater than what they are today. I keep noticing this thing how, I keep noticing posts and videos and comments from different African people who say, we don't need to listen, we don't need to do what the West did, we don't need to follow this example, we don't need to do this, we need to do it the African way. But here's the thing, there is no African way. Like if there was an African way, it would be done. So why should we overcomplicate anything? If there is a proven method of success, use it. You do not have to recreate the wheel. Now, I know it's not a lot of Africans watching my videos. My video is really for people who want to leave the country. So for people who want to become expats and immigrants, and it's not really for people in the diaspora, because that really just means Africans who left and who have a country to come back to. I'm talking about people who descendants of slaves, do not have a country, trying to figure out where else they can go in the world. But I want to speak to this concept, this idea of how Africans are very reluctant to take advice from anybody else, and it's actually handicapping the progression and the development of these African nations. You can look at an example like Nigeria. You can look at Nigeria as an example, but at the end of the day, right, all of us have been colonized or enslaved. And there's nothing wrong with just saying, look, because this is why you got to go into history sometime. It's nothing wrong with just taking advice or taking the example from another people. Because at the end of the day, like, for example, if we look at the United States, and let's say, I hear people say, we don't need to look at the West for an example on anything. Well, hold up. First off, if you understand the history of the development of the United States and industrialization of the United States, a lot of inventions that came out in the late 1800s and the early 1900s were from black people. So it's like when you say we don't want to look to the West, Africans are effectively disregarding all the contributions that black people made to develop in that country. Same thing with Europe. In the Dark Ages, black people ruled Europe. Black people had to teach white people about how to take a bath, right? So it's just like, it's very to me irresponsible when you make these blanket statements like, we don't want to learn from this person or we don't want to learn from that person. To me, it's an excuse for being lazy, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If somebody created a model, if somebody did something and was successful, yeah, you could put your own flavor on it, but take the blueprint, take the model. You don't have to, if you build in a house and somebody successfully built the house and they say, hey, you can use my blueprint so you don't have to waste a lot of resources and time. Okay, so you may paint the walls a different color. Okay, so you may add a different type of wood or a different type of roof. But at the end of the day, if they gave you a successful blueprint that you watch work and you see that the foundation's solid, what's the point of trying to do anything all the way from scratch? It's stupid. It's pointless. It's unnecessary. So I think that pride, that African pride in that sense, is no good. It's counterproductive. It doesn't allow anybody to achieve anything. I think it just I think it just prevents the development of the country, and it just prevents people from being able to actually succeed in anything, you know, because whenever the conversation comes up about how to solve this problem, you know, it's like when you say, hey, look, well, this country did it this way, this country did it this way. Well, we don't want to follow them. We don't want to follow them. Throw them ideas out. So where else are you going to get a good idea from? Because a lot of times you have to try something thousands of times to find the one good idea. Just like when Henry Ford was trying to build the car. He had thousands of ideas to create the combustion engine, and it took him over a year. He told his team to do it. His team didn't believe they could do it. And after over a year of trying different methods, he finally came up with one design that worked. So why should, and then let's say you got another person want to do the same thing, and they got the one design that worked out of 1,000, and you say no, because that was his idea, I don't want it. I want to go try all of the 1,000 that he did wrong, and then I want to go try to see if I can find my own solution. It's stupid. It's dumb. You should just learn from wisdom. Learn from wisdom. You know, a fool rejects knowledge. A fool rejects knowledge, but a wise man hearken. A wise man will listen. So it's just like, come on now, let's not allow pride to cause us to be stuck in a lower state. You know, if something works, follow it. I always talk about how China went from a very similar situation as Africa. Large land mass, a lot of resources, but they had this rich and poor gap. And they have 100% communist government, but it works. So forget the government. What they did was very important of how they created a middle class by focusing on industrialization. They focused on learning how to build machines. So they accomplished two things with this. Not just importing and buying machines, because that's really all you need to industrialize. Is step one is to just import and buy machines so that you can process the things that you have. But they took it one step further. They made a lot of mechanical and industrial engineers. And that way, not only did they buy and use machines, they learned how to create machines. And now they are the industrial capital of the world. If anybody needs any machine, China is the place to go for it, above anybody else. So, and they were able to create a middle class because now all the resources that they have in China, there's a labor force, and then there's the machinery needed, and there's people there to run the machines. So now you have hundreds and thousands of factories in China. But Africa's sitting here with all of these resources, no machinery, no factories, and they waiting for a foreign company to come and set up their factory and import their machines so that they can overtax them. Nah, that's the dumb way. That's the exploitative way. You know, it's like why not just, I just do not understand how these people think, but it's clear that the people who make the policies have no understanding of business, finance, or economics. Period. It's clear that they don't. It's a bunch of old people with old degrees who have no experience, and they just use intimidation, muscle, exploitation, fear, greed in order to rule and to make rules. Right? So what am I saying? I'm saying that in an ideal situation, the government would invest money in machinery, or they would create incentives for people to bring in machinery. They would create incentives, or they would invest money in developing engineering schools within their country. They would allow people to go, the best of the people in their country, they would pay for them to go get education in engineering, mechanical engineering, so that those people can come out and work for the government building machines, or at least designs, or some kind of thing where the government facilitates and encourages people building machines so that the factories can be developed from within the country. That's what China did. That's what China did. They developed factories from within the country, from the resources in the country, from the talent in the country, and then after that, before you knew it, instantly they have a job boom, millions of people getting jobs, they getting out of the farms. They, you know, we already talked about this in the 4 factors of production, capitalism versus socialism. I already talked about what it takes. So now it's just a matter of, okay, who's the best example? United States and Europe, I talked about this, had the Industrial Revolution a long time ago. China just went through it. And literally within 20 years, 10 years, they Industrial Revolution, and then another 10 years became the next world superpower. So you telling me China can become a world superpower in 10 years and they doing it off of African gold. Come on, bro. It's like now that they got money, you know what they doing with it? They coming to Africa, investing in resource. They buying all the gold, and they backing their currency with gold. That's why they the world superpower now, and the economy is on lock, and their currency is strong, because of the long-term vision of the government. I'm not a communist. I don't even believe in communism. I like free enterprise, but the way the Chinese Communist government planned this thing and executed it is commendable. It's commendable, and I think you could take a page out of their playbook in order to figure out what the actual plan should be. Regardless of whether you're socialist, capitalist, or communist, it don't matter the style of government. You need to be looking at how they were able to turn the majority of the people who were just poor and create a middle class out of nothing. I watched Egypt go through it. You know, I remember a time when you could not go to the store and buy a pack of tortillas that was locally produced, or a pack of wraps or flour tortilla wraps, whatever you want to call them. But then by the time I left, within 5 or 10 years, they had locally produced tortillas for cheap. So I'm like, now I can go to Shoppers here in Tanzania and they trying to charge $10 for a $2 pack of tortillas, a $1.50 pack of tortillas that's imported. That's ridiculous. Why don't the government just make it really cheap to import machines, or almost free like Ghana's doing, to import food production machines, and somebody here who just got time and a little bit of money to hire 1 or 2 people, buy some packaging, start making tortillas or wraps, packaging them up, freezing them, buy some refrigerators, build some distribution, and start selling a product. That's what's needed. That's what's needed. That's how it's done. So I hope this makes sense on pride, African pride, not wanting to take advice or not wanting to follow the example of other people who successfully done what they trying to do. I think it's ignorant. I think it's stupid. What's the phrase? Cutting off your nose to spite your face. You harming yourself out of this sense of misguided pride, right? You're not really doing anything other than destroying yourself by saying, I don't want to follow the working example, especially if there is only one way to do a thing. It's like, can't nobody plant a tree any different than planting a tree. Okay, you got some cool stuff like hydroponics and all this, but at the end of the day, the seed needs to go, it needs to germinate, it needs to be nurtured, it needs to grow, it needs light. It's no other way to plant a seed. It's no other way to grow a plant or to grow a tree. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just figure out how to plant as many seeds as you can and get people to go cut them down or grow or harvest whatever it is they're growing. So yeah, real quick, everybody who don't know, I have a course for business. If you don't know anything about business, you want to figure out how to live this life, you need to go to get my course. I think it's under $25 right now just for the business one. If you kind of already got your finances situated and you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I live? What should I do? What should I focus on? You should probably get my expat course or my immigrant, how to move out the country course. It's like $10 right now, almost nothing. I dropped the price to almost free just so people can stop asking me the same questions. All my personal experience, all the knowledge that I have about business and moving overseas. So yeah, y'all can go ahead and get that. For those who already have a business, those who kind of already successful in their life, and they just trying to figure out how to invest, you in position to invest, you should apply for my mastermind. I have a very select group of people that I'm working with, on people I'm letting invest in my gold mine, people I'm buying diamonds with, tanzanite, different other different minerals. We starting business, we doing things. You have to be in my inner circle in order to do that. So you can, if you go to adrianexpat.com to apply to be in my mastermind, you have to interview, you got to apply, you got to pass the interview. And if you qualify, then yeah, I'll let you in, and then I'll let